About a year and a half ago, I made a video about Kaulig Racing, and it was really just covering what the team was up to at that point and how it went from being the biggest up-and-coming team in NASCAR to just stuck on a frustrating plateau of performance, mediocre in Cup, diminishing returns in the Xfinity Series. But since then, there's been a lot that's changed. Since then, it's been announced that Dodge will one day soon probably be coming back, as Ram is coming back in 2026 to NASCAR. And with that, there's change. They're partnering with Ram, Kaulig that is, and it sounds like leaving the new O'Reilly Auto Parts series behind for the time. Also, they have signed for sure Butterbean Queen, and the rumors are that Eckes and Danny Dye could be truck possibilities in what will be a 5-truck program for Ram next year with factory support. And rumors of Enfinger or Jeb Burton, Tony Breidinger, and Daniel Hemrick possibly being the ones to make up some of those other rides. There's serious money and or talent possible for all 5 of those truck teams. And I think that Kaulig at this point intrigues me more than just about any team. From being a boring, mediocre team to one that I'm actually excited to see what they do and where they go in the coming years. On the Cup side, they're going to remain the same for a little bit. They're going to have AJ Allmendinger and Ty Dillon, and they're probably going to run 20th on back just about every week, with a few pop-ups at road courses and super speedways, and maybe a one-off here or there at other tracks like Homestead. But when it comes to those lower series, I think it's really interesting. I think the future is really bright for this team. What this does in the long term is set Kaulig Racing up to be a Tier 1 partner when Dodge enters the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series as well as the NASCAR Cup Series, putting them, hypothetically, on a level with Penske with Ford, Hendrick with Chevy, and Gibbs with Toyota, having them set up with money, resources, and a very good destination for better and better drivers. AJ Allmendinger, let's be honest, he isn't getting any younger. He's in his mid-40s at this point, and by the time Dodge gets up to the Cup Series, it's almost a certainty that he'll be retired from full-time driving. And Ty Dillon, he's Ty Dillon. Like, there's not much more to say there. He's just Ty Dillon. And with that, though, you do have a lot to look forward to, because if Butterbean works out, if Eckes works out, or maybe you have Hemrick or Enfinger up in maybe one of the 2 series, second or third tier series with O'Reilly Auto Parts or the truck series, you have a really good foundation for growth. And with that growth too, you can lure other really decent and good drivers maybe away from the second or third tier teams of Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. And with only 3 current OEMs, you can see a bottleneck when it comes to the ascension of different talented drivers in the 2 lower series. I mean, for instance, look at Toyota with Corey Heim. Heim has dominated this series and has been deserving for well over a year of being ascended up to the Xfinity Series at least, if not the Cup Series where he's shown some promise. And he is stuck in the Truck Series this year, basically just dominating until the championship race. With that, though, there's others that you could see. Carson Kvapil, for instance, is somebody who's doing part-time rides here or there. Maybe that added funding from the Rams side could help him there. There's so many different drivers that we've seen over the years that probably have the talent to go up to Xfinity and to go up to Cup, and they just don't have the opportunity. This could offer that opportunity and maybe siphon through a little bit more of the talent pool and get better drivers in the process. And you would assume in the coming years, this will also lead to a growth in competition. With more money being pumped into the Cup Series, one, Kaulig will do well, but there'll also be other teams. And if Kaulig isn't the number 1 team, they'll still be probably a more competitive team than they are with Chevrolet right now, as they'll be higher on the totem pole. They won't be behind the likes of Hendrick Motorsports, of Trackhouse, of Richard Childress Racing, to name a few. They will be first or second on that totem pole, and at worst, be hypothetically at the level of a 2311, which is still pretty damn good and can compete for championships. And you look on top of that as well, that growth is going to mean that, one, maybe we can have deeper fields when it comes both competitively and numbers-wise, but also what it adds to is that competitively towards the top, the Cup Series, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and maybe starting next year, the Truck Series can be more top-heavy in the performance up there. Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that somebody like Tony Breidinger or Jeb Burton is going to be an elite driver, but think, top-tier equipment for Grant Enfinger or Daniel Hemrick in the Truck Series, better than what they have now? Yeah, they could be elite. They could win races. They could win championships. You look at the drivers that they could maybe lure over at different points in the second and top series of NASCAR. Yeah, they'd probably get drivers elevated with that. This is something with this Dodge Alliance and growth that I really want to see. And this isn't even accounting for the fact that there's going to be even more competition, more money, and probably a deeper field on top of all of that if Honda jumps in. What I like about this is that there at least is a short-term future for Kaulig set up. In the short term, they have a good base. They're going to have a few years before Dodge jumps in fully to prepare. They're going to have a few years to get the truck program up to snuff, and maybe a few years to get a developmental program put up and put together. Now it's just a matter of the long-term plan, because Dodge and Stellantis and all of the parties involved, they did have a good short-term plan in the 2000s in the re-entry to NASCAR, with Evernham, among others. But by the end of the 2000s, it started falling apart. And by the time they left, it was just Penske, now granted, a championship-winning Penske team, that they had under their wing. They're going to need to do things differently this time, whatever that might be, whether it's a developmental program, whether it's setting up sponsorships better, whether it's putting in money in different places. I don't know what it has to be, but it cannot be the same mistakes that they made from 2001 to 2012 that led to them pulling out of the sport entirely for over a decade before. With that, though, I want to know, what is your prediction for Kaulig, both in the short term at the trucks, but also in the top two series? Do you think Kaulig is going to get back up on the ascension? Or do you think that they're just a useful pawn for Dodge and Stellantis and Ram to just get a better team under their wing? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much, all my channel members, for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.